Welcome into the Thomas Fitch Sports Show Couch Conversations edition. You're probably wondering, what in the world's going on right now? Well, what in the world is going on is the normal room that I reserved to do my podcast was reserved by someone else, so I thought, why don't we bring the podcast home? So, we are here in the apartment formerly known as Aspen Heights. I hope I don't get sued for saying that. But we're here. I'm here with roommates Wayde, Adler, James Boswell. And this could be completely informal, no script, no stats, just guys talking about football. So let's get started. All right, so obviously over the weekend, Texas, big win over Oklahoma. Looked like it was going to be bigger. Texas has a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter, blows it, but still, Dicker the kicker hits a game-winning go-ahead field goal with about 9 seconds left. Horns win 48-45. Guys, reactions from the game?
You know, you always want to beat OU. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So reactions from the game was obviously just a lot of like, the whole time the game's going on, you're like, all right, when does it fall apart? And then it fell apart.
Right.
You know, that I guess that's the best way to say it. You watch the game, you're like, oh, we're up 21 points. That's weird. And then we weren't. And that's normal. But, you know, we pulled it out, and that's really that was really good to be able to finish with a win. Really can't complain. A lot of people are upset about blowing it. We won. Yeah. Can't complain.
I'll say this. I'll speak for all Texas fans. We all probably said some pretty regrettable stuff. Especially if Texas had gone on to lose. There's a lot of Texas is back flying around. So there's a lot of,
man,
this is
you get
fun.
For saying Texas is back. I mean,
that
that's
is
karma.
true. That is true.
Texas is not ever back in the sense of back.
But I definitely
ruined that.
I had a lot of tweets where I was like, man, this is like watching Texas football is fun. Like Texas Twitter is so much less fun. Like it's not as funny when Texas is winning because there's not like, oh, Texas sucks. But like,
yeah.
then the comeback happens. I tweeted, I was like, how to take back everything I've said in the last 30 minutes because it was the most, almost the most Texas collapse. But wait, what is Texas being able to get the win show about the program?
God, that was crazy. This was the first time I have ever seen where the offense took control rather than the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most of our games this year have been, I think, personally, the defense has won the games.
That's been true under Tom.
They've gotten the stops when they've needed to.
And against OU, we scored plenty of times against OU, which was crazy.
48 points. They fired their defensive coordinator after the game.
Yeah, I want to make a point about that real quick. In the last few weeks here, what Texas has been able to do is cause a players-only meeting for USC and cause Oklahoma to fire their defensive coordinator midway through the season.
Yeah.
Only a few years ago, like 2 years ago, we were having players-only meetings and firing coaches halfway through the season. So it's nice. It's really nice to be on the other end of that. You know, be the team causing those problems and not the team reacting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talk about Texas finally being able to pull out close games and not blowing them. You talk about Texas forcing other teams to make other teams have these team meetings, fire coaches. So looking at that from that standpoint, is Texas back? And I don't quite mean. Obviously, there are a lot of definitions of Texas back because I would say in my mind back is winning conference championship, competing for a national title. But as far as back on the national stage and back to maybe a more consistent team, back to where we saw, Mac Brown, he was in 2 national championship games, but even the years when he wasn't in the national championship games, he was winning 10 wins prior to 2010. So is Texas back to the point of winning 9-10 wins a season, at least for the next couple years? You think so?
I don't think we'll know till we get there for a couple years.
I agree with that, but I don't think we're back until we have consecutive years of great wins.
So if Texas was to go on to win the Big 12 championship this year, you wouldn't say that they're back?
I'd say...
I mean, in the sense that, like Joe Tessitore said, Texas is back, folks. Yeah, I think that's fair. Texas is back to winning a conference championship.
Right.
I think in the sense you're talking about, though, you can't say that Texas is back to being a consistently relevant program until it's consistently relevant. Yeah. And that, by nature, takes time.
Yeah, I would say my take on this is 5 wins in a row, 3 of which against teams that were ranked. I know USC, TCU not ranked anymore, but there'll be 8-9 win teams by the end of the year. OU, a very good team. And so, I think as far as that standpoint, Texas definitely looking a lot better than they have in the past. But I think it's hard to tell. So let's get started with our offensive breakdowns. All right, so we are still going to kind of stick with the theme of we'll kind of break down offense, break down defense. Definitely want some debate over stuff. I think we've already had a little bit of debate over
what we do.
Is Texas back? But offensively, what are some takeaways from y'all?
Sam is the quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with that.
That argument's over.
But he's gonna be the quarterback of the future. There was a lot of talk about Sam Ellinger being just a placeholder for Cameron Rising coming up. But I think Sam sealed his place in line here on out.
Yeah, incredible performance. I know we've talked about this, but kind of Texas letting OU back into the game kind of gave a chance for Sam to step up and actually finally have that game-winning drive. And driving the team down and really stepping up. And so I think as far as that, he's showing, he's not the best quarterback as far as technique, as far as fundamentals. I don't think he's not going to be playing on a lot of NFL Sundays.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
You don't see him as an Alex Smith check down, hold the ball.
He could, but he doesn't have the mechanics to be a super elite quarterback.
Okay.
I think he definitely has the capability of being a great college quarterback. He's very Tebow-like, very Colt McCoy-like. Yeah. He's going to run you over.
Good comparisons.
And I'll slow down.
It's good
but
company.
The point is, he's got that kind of just a grittiness to him. He's going to run you over. He's not fast, but he'll lower his shoulder. He'll make little moves, and he makes throws, and he leads the team to win when he needs to do it. And he's done that this year very well.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, I think Cedric Golden, the Austrian American statesman, who probably doesn't watch this but should, said,
we can tag him.
He said, yeah, we should. He said that out of the two quarterbacks on the field, one was a Heisman finalist, or one was a Heisman contender, and it shouldn't have been Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I don't think that Sam is anywhere close to being in the Heisman talk. But when you look at the fact that he was clearly the better quarterback on the field that day, Kyler Murray, 21 points in 6 minutes, that's crazy. That's impressive. That's all him.
Yeah.
But when you look at the guy who is the best quarterback in terms of managing an offense, running a team, it's the guy who doesn't throw an interception.
Yeah.
The guy who doesn't fumble the ball. The guy who gets third downs. I mean, we want to talk, this is a Texas team that in the past, I hate third down because we get to third down and it's like, this year, though, this is a different year. This year, this is a Texas team that when they get to 3rd and 10, doesn't matter. Clutch pass.
Yeah.
Happens every time. And this is something that we saw against OU. This is a team that shows up, gets first down, second down, doesn't matter. We get to third down, can still convert. That's a good quarterback. Now, he also has good receivers who are helping him. We can get to that.
Yeah.
But a good quarterback makes the reads, makes the throws to get the first downs. And Kyler Murray didn't.
Yeah.
He had some fluke plays, some freakishly athletic moments, but on a reliable basis, he was not able to convert.
Yeah, and another comparison between Kyler Murray and Sam Ellinger, or one difference between them, when it came to putting their body on the line for the game, one of those guys has a $5 million MLB contract, one doesn't. Kyler Murray, there was a number of times where he could have lowered his shoulder, gotten a couple more yards. I think there was a big play. I think it was in the first half where he slid, lost 2 yards, and instead of getting a first down, set up a third down. Sam Ellinger doesn't do that. No. He lowers his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray's got $5 million to go play for the A's.
Yeah, why would you risk that?
And there's a number of times, whether it's sliding, stepping out of bounds, and that was a big difference. In a game that is this close, coming down to the wire, that makes a difference. And that's, I think, again, that's another example of Sam just saying, I'm going to put the team on my back, do whatever it takes to win the game for my team. And it's a little worrisome, obviously, comparisons to Colt. Colt got hurt a lot in his career. Obviously, the biggest injury in the 2009 championship game, but back-to-back years getting injured against A&M, got injured against Kansas State his sophomore year. A lot of injuries that didn't hurt him in the long run. They weren't long-term injuries, but that's just what happens when you put your body on the line. And so, obviously, that doing it, though, gave Texas the win. As far as the running game, I'd have to say much more improved. Would you all agree with that?
I think so. I think if you look at that first down yardage, I like to measure a running game by how consistent you can be on first down.
Yeah.
And this whole year, especially if we look at OU, though, this is a team that goes from first, and in previous years would be first and 9, or second and 9. Now on a first down, we're getting 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5.
Yeah.
I'll take 5 yards on first down every time.
Right.
And do y'all think that's because of Herb Hand? in the O-line.
I think that's something that needs to be considered.
And I read an article about it today where, Herb Hand came from Auburn, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Auburn's O-line right now, horrible.
Right.
Yeah. That's a constant.
And ours magically gets better this year compared to last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was, one thing after last year that I had said was, Texas getting some new, obviously you bring in Calvin Anderson, but
Calvin Anderson basically just replaced Connor Williams.
Right, right. And so it was an offensive line that really never showed growth over last season, that struggled as much in the first game as they did in the last game. And that was some of my worry coming into this season was, if they can't grow in the season, can they make that big of a leap in the offseason? And clearly it seems so far that the hiring of Herb Hand had a huge impact on this team this season. Now, one place where the offensive line struggled in this game was in the fourth quarter. That was a big reason that OU was able to come back. A lot of holding penalties after some big runs.
Is that just because they were tired, y'all think?
Herman said so. Herman seemed to think that. He said you get tired. He's like, in the fourth quarter, we're tired. We've been on the field for a while. He said the defense was tired. The offense was tired. That makes sense, but this team should be able to finish games. So I think there's probably holding calls happen. I mean, you get beat, you make a mistake, you get flagged for it.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It was either we've only played 6 D linemen or is it 6 O linemen throughout the whole season?
I'm not familiar with that stat.
I'm not sure.
I read that earlier.
I would say D linemen, especially because we only play 3 guys up front.
That's right. That's
but I think 2 things I would say on the O line as far as the fatigue, discipline is definitely the first thing to go when fatigue happens. That's why, you see this in high school football. That's why when guys are running sprints, coaches are saying go on the second, third whistle. They're practicing when you're tired, knowing how to be disciplined and wait. And clearly some of that lack of discipline showing. But yeah, I think another thing on the holding calls, a lot of times with those calls, they're keeping a big play from happening in the backfield. And obviously we've seen some holding calls away from the play. You hate to see those.
You really do.
But there are a lot of times where the guy's held because you have a safety flying in, and you got the lineman saying, hey, if I don't hold this guy, our quarterback's just about to take a huge hit.
Yeah.
And so you got to look at holding from that perspective. Another big factor in the offense this week and every week, the wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Colin Johnson, Little Jordan, 2 of the best receivers in the nation, showing it game in, game out. Talk a little bit for me about kind of their development kind of this year and how they played in the game.
I mean, they're playing the way they're supposed to be playing. We've said for, 3 years now, Colin Johnson should be the best receiver in the country.
He should.
And he never has been. He has always been the guy who's afraid to use his height, afraid to use his body. He catches the ball, and he gets tackled immediately.
When he said he's struggled to have solid quarterbacks.
That is a factor. But his individual play has not been, aggressive. And when you're 6'6" and big, I don't know how heavy he is, but he's big, you should be able to pretty much do whatever you want out there.
Yeah.
And this year, we're seeing Colin Johnson, and LJ to a certain extent also, but we're seeing Colin Johnson really use himself the way that he should be used, and that has made a world of difference. And it's allowed guys like LJ, or maybe vice versa, but it's opened up that passing game, because now you throw to Colin Johnson, he can get 8 yards after a catch.
Yeah.
It's that long bomb.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one pass that will scare the defense. And it'll scoot them back, and we'll run it up the middle.
Yeah, that had a big impact in the USC TCU game. It kind of felt like Texas went away from that against Kansas State, especially in the second half.
Absolutely.
But the deep threat of Colin Johnson. Then you have the medium threat of Little Jordan. We saw that huge 3rd and 20 play, that screen play to Little Jordan.
Play of the game.
And Herman calls that the play of the game, because it wasn't just the fact that they got close to the first down. It was what it represented for the team.
Oklahoma wasn't making plays like that.
No. And that just kind of shows the grit and the physicality that this Texas team has that they haven't had for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And when Charlie Strong came in, obviously there was the whole, have to get away from that country club culture at Texas. And we saw a little bit more physicality, but there was still a lot of struggles defensively.
I think the problems were too big to be overcome by a culture shift.
Right. And now we're finally seeing this team. I mean, there were 5, 6, 7 white hats flying to that ball, pushing Little Jordan. I mean, he probably got pushed a solid 10 yards.
He did.
And that was
Texas went on to score on that drive. It's huge.
That's a drive that was supposed to end in a punt. Herman said we called that play just to see if we could get any yards for a punt.
Yeah, that's all you're trying to do there.
And the fact touchdown.
Yeah, that was incredible, and that's Little Jordan. That's the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. And now these two guys open up the other receivers.
Yeah.
Like Duvernay made a huge play to get a first down on a offsides play.
Right. Yeah,
and
Duvernay.
You're
right. On that last drive.
Yeah, on the last drive, set us up for Dicker the kicker.
Yeah. You watch that drive. A good little move. Duvernay has the linebacker on him, just kind of sitting there. Catches the linebacker watching the quarterback.
Yep.
Makes a little cut to go out. We also saw John Burt make a catch. Love to see Andrew Beck talk about. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love seeing Andrew Beck catch the ball.
Yeah, that's a great point. Is those two guys on the outside have just opened up the middle of the field for Andrew Beck, and he also had some huge
catches.
Three huge catches.
I learned this yesterday. Andrew Beck is the first Texas tight end since Jermichael Finley to have 3 or more receptions in, I believe, 3 or more games.
And that's a wild, because 3 catches for a tight end is not crazy. Jermichael Finley played, that was back in the Colt McCoy days.
Yeah.
And so I think tight end has definitely been a position of struggle. And again, not having a tight end, that doesn't keep you from winning games, but it definitely makes it harder. And that's something that, when you look at the game and you're saying the tight end isn't getting involved, that's not necessarily something you pick up on, but clearly huge catches in the OU game that had
TFF also has him rated as one of the top 5 blocking tight ends.
Yeah.
Like he's accomplishing every role.
Yeah, and it's so great to finally see him healthy.
Yeah.
He's struggled with staying healthy. He's been a captain for this team, at least. Yeah, thank you. Knock on wood. Absolutely. But captain of this team. He's a leader. He's been there fifth year senior.
Yes, 5th year senior.
I think he could go on and have a great career in the NFL. But talking about the NFL, looking at wide receivers, both Lil Jordan, Colin Johnson, are juniors. Do y'all think either or both of them go pro?
Gosh, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But since we're doing this good, they might stay another year.
Right, and that's one thing we've talked about is, if this team finishes up 9-10 wins, contending for a conference championship, I don't think this is definitely not a team who could win the national championship.
No.
Especially, we can talk about in a little bit how good just Alabama, let alone Georgia, Notre Dame, but how good a lot of teams are this year. But Texas wins 9-10 wins, competes for a conference championship, and I could see those guys saying, you know what, it has taken a little while for us to buy into this program, but we're bought in, and we think we have a chance to actually be in the national championship conversation next year.
I wouldn't want to leave that locker room. I'm telling you, if I'm looking at leaving and going somewhere new or staying, I wouldn't want to leave that locker room. I would say we have more to do. Especially if you look at the fact that they've gone through 5-7 seasons.
Yeah, 5-7.
Now 7-6.
Those guys 5-7. Yeah, 7-6, and
that's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
It's not fun. This is fun.
They get a taste of you see it on the sidelines. These guys are having fun.
Yeah,
they're having fun, and they're having fun because they've worked hard. Brecken Hager talked about it. I'm sure Herman got up when he said they've been doing some things. Not sure if it's legal or not. The thing is, these guys are working hard, and it's paying off, and they're enjoying the fact that it's paying off. So I think, as far as that, there's a good chance. But I don't know. If these guys are getting top 15, top 20 draft grades,
I think that's out of the question.
It's just hard because and I get where they're coming from. You're making no money right now, as allegedly, but you don't have a consistent income. The way injuries work. You've seen you look at Earl Thomas. I think that's going to change the way a lot of people look at the game. But Earl Thomas, for those of y'all who didn't know, he kind of was waiting. He wanted to be traded, but instead he stayed with the Seahawks last year of his contract. Gets injured. That's definitely going to hurt his value going forward. And so, these guys, this is their livelihood. And you get injured one year, there's a couple $1 million, possibly millions of dollars, with a possible NFL career down the drain. And so I completely could understand them going to the draft, but I think this is a team that really likes each other and really likes being with each other and playing with each other. Yeah. I think that's about it offensively. I think we can move to the defensive side of the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's tough to kind of grade this defense because you got to remember they're going up against one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Kyler Murray.
One of the best athletes in the nation.
That's true.
I don't think he's one of the best quarterbacks, but he's definitely one of the best athletes.
Yeah. And I said this last week, the key to stopping, or you're not going to stop Kyler Murray. The key to beating OU is just to slow him down and keep up offensively. And the offense did that.
Yes.
They held up their side of the bargain. But I want to see how y'all would, I don't want to say grade, but kind of your takeaways from the defensive performance in this game.
I think they did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously in the last quarter, they let Kyler Murray score 21 points, which is a lot, but it's Kyler Murray. I mean, he's an athlete, one of the best in the world.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley's offense is going to score fast.
Yeah.
And so they did what they needed to do to win the game.
Yeah.
With the interception, the fumble.
Yeah.
Winning the turnover battle has been huge
turnovers
for this defense.
Well,
They've done
battle in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the third drive of the game that Brandon Jones gets an interception.
Yeah.
That
at a crucial time.
That's huge. That sets us up for the rest of the first quarter. We're going in saying we have a possession advantage.
Yes.
We got a free possession out of it.
Yes, exactly.
And that changes your mindset. That changes the way you call plays. You're not playing catch up. When they score, you're not tying now. You're scoring and they're tying.
Yeah.
That changes the flow of things. I mean, my biggest thing is that I said this. I might change my mind right now. I continue. I'm going to backtrack on the biggest thing. But I continue to love watching the secondary play.
Yeah.
When we look at Caden Stearns had maybe a quiet day for him. No interceptions, nothing remarkable, no crazy, I just had a feeling plays.
Right.
But when you look at him on one side, we also didn't hear much about him that was bad. He made some freshman mistakes.
He made one missed tackle.
Well, and the less you hear about a secondary, the better they're doing at the end of the day, other than interceptions.
Yes. I want to point out, though, that while Caden Stearns maybe had a quieter day than usual, B.J. Foster, on the other hand, stepped up, and he had a heck of a day. I mean, you want to talk about, so he didn't have any picks. Brandon Jones got the only interception. But B.J. Foster had a sack, I believe.
That sack.
A big sack.
Oh.
Maybe one of the most athletic plays. What happened on this play is B.J. Foster comes in kind of delayed blitz.
So Kyler Murray's here. B.J. Foster's back here. And the line is right here.
Yeah.
Before the snap, B.J. Foster goes from here to here, and then they snap
just
the ball.
A perfect read. And the thing missing from this illustration of Bevo tackling Tiger Woods. I love the illustration, by the way. I won't actually show this because we'd have to put Bevo's horns down.
Right, we don't do that.
But here's what happened. The running back comes in, trips up B.J. Foster. He somehow gets tripped up, rolls over, immediately looks up, grabs Kyler Murray's leg, yanks him down.
Now, unfortunately, in the NFL, that's a 15-yard penalty.
Right, because he touched the quarterback.
But we allow tackling in college football. We allow people to sack the quarterback. So that was just a really good play.
Right.
And that takes it from, that was a second down, I think? That makes it a third and long?
Right.
Yeah.
And they were in
third quarter.
In Texas territory.
Yeah. That ended the
drive.
drive.
Who was it that pressured Kyler Murray to make him fumble?
Make him fumble?
A Menahu.
It was a Menahu, yeah.
He blocked his run lane.
I tell you what, let's talk about the front seven for a second while you bring that up.
I think that was probably our strongest performance. I was going to say secondary, definitely the front seven had the biggest impact.
And obviously stopping the run was critical in this game, and I think that was one way they were able to stop Kyler Murray.
Yeah, make him throw.
Right, you force him to throw, you take out that option. Without the little option where the run-pass option, that's a big part of Kyler's game. Certainly helps that OU doesn't have Rodney Anderson.
Kyler's game.
I know I've talked about that. What the impact of not having Rodney Anderson. I think
had a couple weeks to get used to it, though.
That's true. And Sermon, definitely a great athlete.
Good enough.
But front seven really shut down the running game. And obviously nobody stood out more, and really hasn't stood out more in the last couple games than Charles Omenihu.
Yeah.
I mean, he is making a living in the backfield.
Big dude.
He is a big dude, and it kind of feels like it's about time.
Yeah,
him and Hager,
fifth-year guy, right?
Right, and these guys have been around a long time. Are they both captains? No, Menahu's not. Hager's the captain.
Is.
But these are the guys that we said, okay, hey, these are seniors.
Yeah.
These are leaders, and we're expecting a lot from them. First couple games, not much. Like I said, I believe going into the USC game, there was one sack.
Yes.
And it was by Chris Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them to come back, Menahu, 4 or 5 sacks the last couple games, not just sacks, tackle for loss, getting penetration in the backfield, forcing turnovers.
The man has
the
safety.
Yeah.
What turned out to be a big safety. I mean, Yeah, when you watch the way they're playing hungry in the sense that they know, like with Amenahue, he was talking to reporters and he said like, yeah, okay, so I went to the draft, but it wasn't really as close as people thought. I got a third or fourth round, definitely like third or fourth day rating, and was like, okay, that's not great.
Yeah.
But apparently he wasn't that close to going back. But you see him, he tests the waters a little bit and says, okay, well, this is worth coming back for. He comes back. And I love to see guys who think about going to the draft and come back, go on to have such bad. I mean, this is a night and day difference. You go from I play football to I make an impact on the game. Like he's not just out there taking up a blocker.
No,
he's taking up 2 blockers now.
Right.
I mean that you want to get double teamed. He's getting double teamed, and if he's not, he's blocking that hole, making Kyler Murray spin around and drop the ball.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's making plays, getting Alex Delton down in the end zone.
Yeah.
Those are game-changing plays that allow guys like Hager to come in up the middle because he's got the ends taken care of.
Yeah. You do look at, obviously we said front seven played good. We said secondary played good. But this team still gave up 45 points. I don't know if I quite have an answer for this, but what was it? Other than the fact that Kyler Murray's great, what was the hole in this team that gave up, that let them give up 45 points?
I think it was the threat of Kyler Murray. Like he's able to go outside, and so they had to cover that. Whereas other quarterbacks, against USC, for example, or TCU, we didn't have that. Oh crap, he can run.
Right, there was no threat of
he
running.
He can run so far.
67
so
yards.
So maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't blitz as much.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't.
The biggest blitz that I noticed was the one that Kyler Murray turned into a touchdown. Other than that, I think they played pretty safe.
Yeah.
So I think they just played a little too conservatively.
Yeah.
Not too conservatively because it's Kyler Murray, but they did.
Yeah.
They
one thing I feel like this defense has struggled with is kind of middle of the field pass coverage.
Yeah.
And that's generally a linebacker thing, and I think that's one thing that in general just college defenses struggle with, because it's so hard that college linebackers haven't quite developed the pass awareness. It's tough. Yeah, and that's even Malik struggled with that. Yeah. And hopefully that's definitely some improvement that could be needed from Wheeler, from McCullough, from those guys who are playing in the middle. But I definitely think that was a big place where OU was able to kind of take advantage of the Texas defense.
Yeah, I think so. I also want to point out, if we take out the 21-point scoring frenzy that happened, that's a fluke in the fourth quarter. Not a fluke, obviously, but that happened in the fourth quarter real quick. Offense couldn't get anything going to help.
Right.
If we take that out, this is a 24-point game.
Yeah.
And I hate doctoring stats like that because obviously, if you take out 45 of those points, it's a shutout. But
right.
If you take out the 21-point scoring frenzy, this is a team that, with 8 minutes to go in the game, has held Oklahoma to 24 points. That's good.
Yeah.
I want to point out, in the first half, it was a lot of trading shots. 7-7, 10-10. This is a lot of trading shots. That's going to happen. The offense, I don't want to say it was too easy for them.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma's defense didn't do our defense any favors because we had a lot of 20-yard plays on offense.
Yeah.
This was not the 8-minute drive offense that we saw against USC or TCU.
Right.
This was like a 3 or 4 minute offense.
Right.
Which means that Oklahoma gets the ball back. Oklahoma's not a 4-minute offense. They're going to score fast. We get the ball back. We're a 4-minute offense. We score fast. There were a lot of possessions in this game.
Right. Well, there's some 3-and-outs that don't give the defense a chance, a breather, which you really need.
There was some.
There was some, but I'm talking about the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, absolutely.
And OU is so successful at that hurry up.
Well, the offense is never going to be as tired as the defense.
Right. And our defense has historically this season really struggled.
Yes.
It was Maryland's the team that's really the only other team that's gone hurry up. Maryland and OU, and obviously the two teams that Texas has kind of struggled the most against is against that, because it's tough to defend against, and especially when you have a guy like Kyler Murray leading the charge of a hurry up offense, it's just tough to stop.
Yeah.
But I think overall, pretty solid play for the defense, knowing what they were going up against. And
our defensive coach didn't get fired.
He did not get fired. I will say this: Orlando has done a good job this year. He's also doing a good job of kind of lowering his name in the coaching hierarchy of him getting hired next year.
We haven't seen the shutdown game. I think a large part that's also the fact that the offense has improved.
Yeah.
Last year it was we got to win a game, 10-7.
Yeah.
That's the only way to win a game. So the defense steps up. This is a different, we can win a game now 48-45. That's different.
Yeah.
Although last year we scored 40 points against OU. I don't know how that happened. Mike Stoops was still the coach.
He was.
No offense to Mike Stoops. He's done a great job there, but
yeah.
I'm on the keep Mike Stoops train.
I think
we
everybody
all
in the
are.
Big 12 should want Mike Stoops to be a ref. I mean, it's why Texas was saying, "Hey, keep Kevin Sumlin."
Yeah.
Well, why NFC East people are saying, "Don't fire Jason Garrett."
Yeah.
You know,
we like Mike Stoops. We really do. Great guy. You know, all that stuff keeps the Stoops legacy alive at OU.
Stoops legacy is gone.
Unfortunately, Lincoln Riley, I guess, wanted to make a name for himself or something.
You know, I didn't realize. I think we like to talk about hair on this. We
do.
We've already called out Shane Buechele for his facial hair,
and he got rid of it the next week.
He did get rid of it. So, but I don't know how Lincoln Riley's going to be able to fix this problem. It's not. We'll see. When I just see, because he usually wears a hat, so you just kind of see that. But he's wearing a visor.
He's a visor guy.
There was nothing up there.
Well, he got that from Bob. The visor. He got the visor
right.
from Bob. It doesn't have Bob's hair.
No.
It's gotta be. I mean, it's probably stressful.
You know, right? Well, I get that. And so when I
you have to wear that color. You got. I mean, you have to deal with the constant.
Right.
Can I say this? You have to deal with the constant knowledge that OU sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting a lot of losing battles.
But see, I had known, like, obviously I had seen the hairline receding. I had not seen the baldness on top.
Yeah.
And it's not just like when Manu has the bald spot, it's a good bald spot. A, because he's old. B, because he's Manu. And C, because it's very like symmetrical. Lincoln Riley's, it's like bald, but there's still some hairs finding their ways in there. It's just gross. So I don't know how we can fix that other than maybe shaving it off. But
I mean, I think his hair would improve if he took a job in the NFL with Baker.
That's true, and that is
gets him out of Norman, gets him away from that OU stuff.
That is okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna say it right here. My prediction, and this is from a lot of different sources, not my direct sources, but I do think that Lincoln Riley will be going to the Browns next year. Here's why. Obviously, Browns bring in new ownership. Ownership doesn't like Hugh Jackson, but wants to wait till the end of the year to fire him. So they're going to do that. Wait till the end of the year to fire him. Things get complicated if the Browns go, say, 8-7-1, because remember they're tied. Wouldn't be 8-8.
It's not going to happen.
But again, if they were to win more games, I think if I'm a Browns fan, I'm saying, okay, let's get 3-4 wins. Fire Hugh Jackson. He's not good. He's not good for that program. So more than likely, Hugh Jackson gone. Mm-hmm. What I have heard is that the Browns want to bring in a coach who's familiar with Baker Mayfield because they want him to be the franchise quarterback.
The only coaches who are familiar with Baker.
3 options. Cliff Kingsbury.
Not an option.
Don't think they'll be taking Cliff Kingsbury. Don't think, no.
He doesn't have a relationship with Baker. We can say that.
Option number 2, Bob Stoops. I highly doubt Bob Stoops will come out of retirement to coach in the NFL, coach the Browns. So that gives option number 3, Lincoln Riley. It makes sense. He's young. Mm-hmm. He's done a great job with OU, and he knows Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm.
And Kyler's leaving next year.
Kyler will almost definitely be gone, whether it's going to NFL draft, going to MLB.
No transfer quarterback is coming in to save this program.
No.
OU hasn't had their own quarterback for, 4 years?
Yeah. And so, you know, if I'm OU, even if Lincoln Riley stays, I'm a little bit scared for OU's about to start a rebuilding process. Mm-hmm. That's not to say they're going to go back to a Texas 5 and like what Texas did following Colt McCoy.
Nobody ever should. I wouldn't wish that on my harshest enemy.
I would wish that on you. Oh yeah, they are my harshest enemy, and true. I would definitely wish 10, 20 years of 5-7 football for them. How about what if OU was to bring in Charlie Strong?
Why?
I don't know. That would just be a fascinating.
I would rather see the Ags go 5-7 than the Sooners.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
Because
and there's definitely much more.
It's not fun if OU's going 5-7.
Well, and there's much. I would say there's more recruiting competition between Texas and Texas A&M than OU and Texas. Right. Even though Texas and OU definitely compete for recruits, and OU definitely recruits a lot in Texas, I'd say there's a lot more between Texas and Texas A&M.
Jimbo Fisher's a better coach too.
Yeah, I agree, and I would say at least a better recruiter, definitely a better. Yeah, that. I don't even want to go into the legal issues that would come up from that.
That would really screw over the Ags.
That really would.
What's better, Norman or College Station?
That's a toss-up.
Oh, okay.
Norman is not as human.
I like this debate. We're entering a new debate. For those of you watching, feel free to comment in the comment section, Norman or College Station. So let's begin this debate. This is tough.
This is very hard.
I have been to College Station once. I've never been to Norman. Both very flat. Very redneck.
I have been to both.
Okay.
I've been to College Station multiple times.
So you're a leading Normanologist and College Stationologist.
I suppose I'm the leading Thomas Fitch Sports Show Normanologist. Yes. Not a proud title, but I'll take it. Yeah, that gives me a niche.
It does give you a niche.
Yeah. So, yeah, my comments, I think I would take, this is weird. College Station's biggest advantage, it's in Texas.
Right.
Norman's biggest hurdle is that it's in Oklahoma.
Right. And
other
that's
than
tough.
the fact that it's in Oklahoma, I thought Norman was okay.
Okay.
Like, it's not 500% humidity.
Okay.
That's a big plus.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. OU's campus, not the worst. It's better than A&M's.
I disagree.
You
Have
disagree?
I seen? Because OU sucks.
Okay,
that's a fundamental issue. Fundamental issue.
But A&M's campus, dude. A&M's campus.
Okay, here's the deal. How can you suck as a university and have a good campus?
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
But you're saying in comparison of OU to A&M, OU has a better campus
by probably a mile.
Well, and another thing to add in about their campus, they do have an unlimited Chick-fil-A.
See, that's a big one
at their school.
That's a big one.
So I can't say anything against that. We're a very pro Chick-fil-A podcast.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah. Right. Great food. And so to have unlimited Chick-fil-A, and that's a big problem with Chick-fil-A, is you get the 12-count nuggets, you're not full. You get the sandwich meal, you're not full. We are off topic. But this is the couch conversation. This is the couch conversation. And having unlimited Chick-fil-A, you can actually be satisfied from Chick-fil-A, which is such a good food.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think that's a big factor in comparing the campuses.
Norman also close to Oklahoma City. Pretty good city.
Which is,
is
the San Antonio of Oklahoma.
Better than Houston.
Better than,
And College Station, what do they have? They only have Houston. And I think, I'm sorry to everyone in Houston, I don't love Houston. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. Wait, what are you...
College Station is technically closer to Austin.
Okay.
And I mean, what's better than Austin?
Good point.
Interesting take.
Interesting. So that is a very good point.
Quick
drive up to Austin.
Because you always want to get away from either of them.
Right.
That's a great
point.
Right.
So would you rather go to Oklahoma City or Austin?
Right. Right. I do like your point that College Station is in Texas.
That's a big one.
That's a huge
That's the only reason I can't confidently say Norman's better.
But it is a cult.
It is a cult.
You know, whereas OU, it's like... It's not as much a cult. It's just like a bunch of idiots at the same place.
You kind of feel bad for him.
I do. I
feel bad.
Yeah.
Walking around the fair, let me tell you, walking around the fair. Now, we couldn't do that this year because it was an 11 o'clock kickoff.
Right.
Last year with the 2:30 kickoff, we had some time before the game
to
go walk around the fair and stuff. And that was really fun. Get to see all the good people and then the unfortunate people.
Right.
And so you see all these kids, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, kids, great. And about half of them are wearing crimson.
Right.
And every time I saw this, I was like, I legitimately felt sad for them, which sounds very arrogant. It is. It is very arrogant. But I genuinely felt sad for them. Like, why? I am so sorry. You have to grow up this way. Maybe, hopefully, they'll see the light. If not, someone still has to go there, so I guess they can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, final takes, Norman or College Station? Wade?
I have a lot.
This is so hard.
I've grown up hating both of them.
How about, I'll phrase this where it's easier for you to say. Which one is worse? Not which one is better. Which one is worse?
Okay, that's better.
It's much easier to say it that way.
Yeah. Okay. I want to say the people of A&M.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a lot of friends that go to A&M.
Right.
I think the people of A&M are better than the people of OU.
Okay.
Yes, but
I'm going to say College Station's worse. I've only been to College Station, and so that's maybe a little biased.
I'm also taking the College Station as worse.
Okay, so our resident Normanologist says College Station.
I would like to add a caveat.
Okay.
I have more respect for A&M as a school than I do for OU as a school.
Okay, I'm kind of different about that. I think the people of Oklahoma are idiots.
Right, they are. They are.
Their school is better, I think, than A&M. But I mean, A&M kind of has that Southern hospitality vibe, which I've grown up with.
That's true.
They are, don't get me wrong, a bunch of white racists there.
With exceptions, so we don't get sued.
But I do have a lot of, some of my best friends go there.
What's said on the couch stays on the internet.
So I'm gonna have to give the edge. Oklahoma is better than OU, than College Station.
All right, so going back to the defense.
Right, of course.
Let's finish.
A little controversial.
Let's finish off the defense, talking about a little bit about we talked about the secondary.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think the secondary, again, it's hard to see, especially when you're watching the game on TV.
Yeah.
You don't see the secondary. But there were a good number of... Kyler Murray had a picnic. Like, he took the snap, he sat down, he ate some food, he had a turkey leg, he had a corn dog, he stood up, still no defenders on him.
That is impressive. It's hard to cover more than 4 seconds.
Right.
A lot of food.
And so
he had a lot of time.
And so that's...
food. Those quarterbacks sit heavy, too, man.
I know.
Well, that explains the 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
Definitely would have liked the defensive line to get more pressure in there, but a good job by the secondary on that plan. I think we saw that a couple times. And so that's something that, when that happens, a lot of times you're thinking, dang, the D-line sucks. Instead of thinking, man, the secondary is doing a great job.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of times Texas rushing just 3 guys.
Yes. Texas rushing 3 guys, it's hard to get pressure. But I also want to say it's a trade-off.
It is a trade-off.
I mean, we just spent the last, aside from our debate, we just spent the last few minutes extolling how good the line was.
Right.
But you can't be good every time.
Right.
On the plays that they weren't, the secondary stepped up. The pressure was able to get to Kyler to bail out the secondary on a couple passes that they got beat.
Yeah.
But, it's a trade-off. And the fact that these guys were able to cover each other so well.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those, we talked about like the 45 points.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those, great play designs.
Yeah.
The first touchdown, there's no way to defend that. It's an option it's a screen
the
pass, run option.
The run pass option with Kyler Murray is dangerous.
You can't defend that. There's no way to defend it. A lot of points like that. For the most part, these guys had either one unit was strong and the other one was weak, and the strong unit saved the weak one, or the whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's a big change, and that shows if, again, I think we've said overall the offense struggles, the defense can pick them up because both do well. But again, that goes on just the defensive side. If the front 7 is struggling, the back 4 are able to hold them up, and vice versa. And so the fact that the defense being able to do that shows a lot of improvement, gives me a lot of confidence in them going forward, especially in a conference where we know there's a lot of good offenses, a lot of good quarterbacks that UT is going to be going up against.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's move on. A little special teams talk, because you got to talk about special teams for this game. Can't start anywhere else than none other Dicker the kicker, who, tell you what,
wow,
yes, as Gus Johnson says, earthquake.
I want to know what he did that morning or whatever that he was doing differently, because this is a guy who's coming in, and we think about, we were super hyped for Dicker coming in out of high school.
That was a little Collinswood. So this is a guy.
Here's
a guy.
I had that thought after a second.
Here's a guy. Gosh. Dicker comes in. We're all real hyped for him because he's great. And he is great.
And he has the name Dicker the kicker.
Right. It's a shame that Dixon couldn't stick around. We wanted to have Dixon and Dicker, but we can't have a law firm for our special teams unit. That's okay. So we get Dicker. We're all super excited for him. First couple games, he seems like he's worth the hype.
Right.
And then he goes on.
It was just extra points, but they looked good.
But he also USC, he was 40? He was 3 for 3, right? With a couple long kicks. We're sitting here going, this guy is exactly what we thought he was going to be. This is awesome. And then the next 2 games, he goes up and misses a couple of misses 3 field goals.
Really ugly looking field goals.
Terrible kicks.
Low.
Yeah.
Somehow, despite that, I mean, that kick he missed against Kansas State was huge. That takes it from 19 to 23, or 22.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Right.
That's a big miss.
Yeah.
I want to know what he did Saturday morning before that OU game that made him go, oh, I got this in the bag. I got nothing to worry about. Because you know what? Frankly, when he went out there, I was thinking, we got something to worry about.
Oh, I was very nervous.
It's on the left hash. You can't kick from the left hash. It's on the left hash. He was coming off of a bad game against Kansas State, coming off of a bad game against TCU, and then he's sitting there like, I know I was going to make it the whole time. Yeah. Dude, what did you do? I want to do that before every test I take. Because he should not have had that much confidence.
No.
It's a good thing he did, but...
Yeah, well, I think one is you got to look at, this guy's a freshman.
Yeah.
And so him kind of having that confidence, some of that could just be nervous energy coming out.
And post-game comments.
Post-game comments.
He really felt.
Right, that's like
also
his
possible.
first time interviewing with
Ever.
Longhorn Network, and here's a guy who grows up in China. Then he goes in high school. He's a kicker, and all of a sudden Longhorn Network's in his face. You just kicked the game-winning kick against OU. I'd be freaking out. But I think it gives me a lot of encouragement that he has that confidence. Because kicking is such a it's like the golf. It's such a golf mental aspect to it that if you don't have confidence in yourself, you're not going to do anything.
Right.
And you're going to miss kicks. And yeah, we have the golf house. I just knew when I set up Tiger. That's why we set up Tiger here. Because we knew we were going to talk. We had to bring in golf somehow.
Yeah.
And we did. But that's the thing is, I think there are a lot of times when guys can be overconfident, overcocky.
Yeah.
A kicker, I want a kicker to be cocky and confident. I want him to go up and say, I know I'm going to make every kick ever. Because that's how you're going to make those kicks when it's such a mental, you know what, it's a mental game. It's the most mental game aspect of football. There's no bang bang action to it. You're just you're waiting on the sidelines for 59 minutes to go out there
and kick a game.
Right. And
I also want to give props to the freshman holder,
Ryan Bachevsky.
And the freshman long snapper who could have snapped it over his head.
Exactly. This is just all of the odds.
That is true. 3 true freshmen in
critical elements.
Right.
Very critical.
A rivalry game, and that is where so many times a bad snap, a bad hold, a bad kick, all 3 of those.
How many bad snaps have we seen in critical moments in the past few years of Texas football?
And you just look at in the pros, they're bad snaps, they're bad holds, and these are guys who've been doing it for years.
Yeah. And I want to make a great point that James made.
Yeah.
It was on the OU side.
It was.
That's been glossed over in every podcast, sports show, everything I've seen about it. Everyone's ignoring the fact that this is on the 35-yard line of the OU side of the stadium.
You look at that angle, it's
loud.
Red.
It's also
all
ugly.
red.
It's loud. They're mad. They don't want to see this kick go through. And he had the composure. He's not sitting there on the Texas side where everyone's saying, "Come on, dude.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's on the loud side with people who hate his guts. Probably gonna throw things at him. Because that's what happens at that game. People throw things.
Yeah,
and I think that's more impressive.
Yeah, incredible composure, and I've never that was some of the most
would be good.
Right, and it's exciting. Well, and I like to say obviously having a good offense, having good defense, you need that to have a good team. But you look at the best teams, they have good special teams.
They have reliable special teams.
Right, reliable, and that's Alabama, who has been the most consistent and powerful college football team since 2009.
I think the last field goal they missed was against Auburn when it got run back.
Right, and that was from
that's like the last game they've ever lost.
They have very rarely struggled on special teams. The Patriots.
Never.
Godkowski, one of the best kickers in the league.
Team.
He's on my fantasy team.
Well, I'm a Justin Tucker guy. But
we all are.
Right.
You can't all have.
But that's the thing. The best teams, people don't talk about it, but the best teams are good from top to bottom. Yeah. And you have to be that to be elite. And that's one thing that obviously, we've said this, Texas isn't winning the national championship this year, but that's something that, again, like true freshman holder, snapper, kicker, all true freshmen.
Yeah.
These are guys, and they're not leaving early. Michael Dixon is one of the few times you're going to see a special teams player leave early.
Right, and he just did a drop kick, onside kick in the NFL. He's the only player to do that since the 1930s. No one does that. He's a special guy.
Michael Dixon is killing it.
Just think, we could be a national championship team with Michael Dixon. I'm going to say that. I will be confident enough to say that because you can't prove me wrong.
That's true. There's no way to no means to argue that. But yeah, Michael Dixon. While we're talking about special teams,
yeah, he made such an impact on us though.
He did.
The whole field position.
Right, field position is huge. And that was one thing that Texas, especially in the Maryland game, that was one thing they struggled is you get back in the end zone and you're having to punt. You're punting with the freshman. Right. Maryland had a touchdown in that game because Bachevsky, because Bachevsky shanks a kick, and now Maryland's sitting on the 25-yard line.
Can't do anything about that.
Yeah, and so having the special teams to kind of help when the offense or defense makes a mistake or gives up something is huge. Yeah. And so I think we're starting to see that. I think Bachevsky struggled a little bit, but I think he's about where, if not ahead, he's about level to where Dixon was his freshman year.
Dixon cost us the Oklahoma State game.
He did. Yeah, I mean, people forget
about that.
Dixon struggled a lot his freshman year. And so I think a lot of hope for Bachevsky. I think give him an offseason to kind of work. Maybe have him and Dixon work together. I'm sure they will be. They're cousins.
Yeah.
Give them a chance to go and work together. I think special teams a bright spot.
I would love to sit and watch them practice putts.
That'd be fun. That'd be so much fun.
That would be the coolest thing.
Thomas Sweepstakes giveaway right there. Watch Dixon and Bachevsky practice punts in the offseason in Australia.
That'd be a really fun Thomas Fitch Sports Show interview. Is just go and hang out with
good luck getting it
with Dixon and Bachevsky while they kick punts
in Australia.
In Australia,
now, the thing is, what most people don't think about when you kick a punt in Australia it's a lot easier.
Now, is it rotating the other way?
No, it's not. No,
because the
ball. Okay. No. But when you punt in Australia, the ball it's different.
It's lower. It's lower on the hemisphere, so it the gravity.
It also it's falling away from the earth. It's not that
right.
hard.
Einstein
You can move
proved
it miles because it's falling. It's upside down.
Right.
And when you kick here, you got the ground's in the way. When you kick it on Australia, you got nothing but space to deal with.
Right.
So I think that's why.
Well, if you get a couple
punters
kangaroo
are all
bounces,
Aussies.
you got the kangaroos. Boom, boom, boom.
That's true. The good punters are Aussies because when you're punting on the bottom of the world, it's easy to kick it real far. Not scientific take.
Coriolis effect.
Sure.
That's actually not. I have an astronomy exam coming up. Coriolis. We're not going to talk about that because this is a bunch of guys talking football. Football guys don't care about science, so we're going to say it's the Coriolis effect. That's why Australian punters are better
because we are intellectuals here.
We are football intellectuals. But so, anyways, kind of wrapping up Texas football talk. What is y'all's kind of confidence meter for Texas going forward? Kind of halfway point of the season. Where are we at?
For the past how many years, I have never been comfortable with. Oh
anything.
My gosh, we're ahead.
Right.
They're like, oh no,
a 3-point lead.
When are they going to come back?
Yeah.
So I'm still in that mindset from here on out. We've had 5 great wins.
We should be running out of wins for the year, right?
Right.
We only have a couple more left, and then we're out.
Right. Well, and one thing you have to remember, and obviously Texas is not. I think this is a more talented team and a better coach team than the A&M teams we've seen in the past. But A&M did this a lot. Starts off well, and granted that's a big reason is because they're playing candy opponents, but.
We play the School of the Blind to the South.
Right, of the North.
I think it's the next week.
But yeah, you're obviously they face off against a lot of mediocre teams. But, you got to remember there's still a lot of football to be played, and it happens a lot where teams start off well and fall off at the end of the season. And
we got a lot of trap games going.
Right, a lot of trap games, and I would say I have a lot more confidence in this team than I would say Aggies probably should have had in their teams, just because top to bottom, offensive, defensive, everything is there.
Yes.
When A&M had Johnny Manziel, they didn't have a defense.
They had a quarterback.
They had a quarterback. They had an athlete. Right. Texas has a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Good running backs. Good receivers. Good, decent offensive line. Decent defensive line. Great secondary. Good special teams. There's a lot of good on this team. There's not a lot of holes. There's really no hole. There's some
punting.
Okay, punting. Right. But I would say that's some places where Texas lacks, but it's not like a huge hole like the defense literally can't stop it.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think that's why I have a lot of confidence. Obviously not a national championship competitor. I think Texas still loses a game or two in conference.
Absolutely.
And they can still make the Big 12 championship if that happens, because I think there's going to be a lot of beating up on each other.
Yeah.
Because a lot of teams look beatable.
Yeah.
But I think this is definitely, again, before the season started, I said Texas 9-10 win team. After the Maryland-Tulsa game, I was thinking probably not, maybe 6-7 at best. But 5 wins in a row. The team's performing well. Mm-hmm. They're liking each other. They like the coaches. They've bought in.
Seems like they're right in the mind. Like they've got the mindset right.
And yes, they're in the right mindset to where they're saying, Brecken Hager, when he was talking, he said, "I got 16 hours to enjoy this before we go back to."
The only thing is Texas back.
Right.
Texas is back to work on Monday.
But at the end of the day, to have players being able to say that, and it's not just Brecken, it's all of them.
Yeah.
They all have that mindset. To have the whole team bought in on that is huge. And that's a big thing that Saban's big on. That's why he was like, I hope that this team performs poorly again, like giving up 30 points to Arkansas when you win 75,000 to 30, so that they can have something to work on and don't get too confident and too cocky.
Yeah.
And I think this team's at the right mindset for that going forward.
Well, I think one of the other points that a lot of the sports writers have been making is this idea that it's different. It's hard to get cocky when you went 5-7, 5-7, 7-6.
Yeah.
Like with Alabama, there's a real threat that they could get cocky. Why? Because they've been the best team in college football for years.
Right.
These players in the locker room have never known losing. Why?
Right.
They're either good high school recruits,
right,
or they've been at Alabama. They don't know how to lose. Maybe they know we'll lose a fluke one here and there.
Right.
That's not the same.
But they know coming in they're going to win a national championship or two when they
or three.
Right. Right.
But the idea, but it's different in Texas.
the concern at Texas is not like we could get cocky, but we could get like so worried that we're good now that we start overthinking. That's
true.
I'm not worried about these players stopping to work hard.
Right, because they know
this is the difference. This is what we've been doing.
We may have that problem with the true freshmen, but like we talked about with Colin Johnson and Lil Jordan and all the juniors and I mean the seniors. I mean, look, Andrew Beck has been through 6 and 7, 5 and 7, 5 and 7, 7 and 6.
Ugh.
That's rough. And I promise you, he's not taking any week for granted. No. And it's great that he's a captain. And again, Hager, he's been here 4 years. Chris Nelson, so all these guys, Elijah Rodriguez, they've been here. They know they're not going to take any week for granted.
And that's why I have confidence that I do believe that we'll drop a game, maybe 2 in conference, because we have to play. I mean, West Virginia's the best team we have coming up, but we also have to go on the road at Lubbock. We have to go on the road at Stillwater, which, if not impossible places to play, they are hard. If not impossible places to play, that's a long drive. To a not great location. Like you get to Lubbock, you're at altitude. The air is different. You get to Stillwater, you don't want to be there anymore. I would say Stillwater. In our Norman College Station debate, Stillwater is like. Well, I did that
down there.
Oh yeah. Okay. So at our Norman College Station debate, you got those two, and then you got Stillwater's like way.
I don't think any of these belong to be on the camera. I think for those of you visiting,
Stillwater is way below both of the towns we just discussed. You don't want to be there when you get there. Also, it's just they have nothing to do in Stillwater. They all go to the games. Like it's a nice stadium.
Yeah,
it's a hard environment.
That smacking of the wall.
So throwing tortillas at Tech.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on there. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens. We still have to go. This is weird.
They're throwing you an HEB like fresh cooked tortilla. You're not going to eat it.
I know,
and that hurts your hydration. I promise you that. That's true. So all of a sudden you're going from championship level hydration to you're a bad teammate.
You don't want to be a bad teammate.
Whoa. So,
but
it's all about
I don't know if they have
hydration.
HEB.
Here's the kicker.
Dicker?
Not Dicker. Although he is the kicker. And I wanted someone to say that at the end of a hot take. The kicker of this game was Dicker. No. Texas still has to go to Lawrence, Kansas on Black Friday. It's going to be cold. It's probably going to be it's going to be a night game, probably. It's going to be cold. The last time we were in Lawrence, it didn't go well.
Right.
This Kansas team has enough ability that they actually play the right sport this year. And so... No offense to Kansas teams of old, but like they're playing football this year. They're doing things that football teams do. That's a game that I'm not going to say I'm scared of, but that's one I'm looking on the calendar. I maybe have that one circled.
Well, here's
a game that you, especially if you've tied up a spot in the conference
championship
and that's the thing. You're like, we're good, we're going to win the conference. No, you're not.
Well, or
Kansas isn't.
Right. Well, and we said Kansas State was the ultimate draft game. Again, if Texas is either kind of clinched a spot or on the verge of clinching a spot in the conference championship, that's a scary trap game for a Kansas team that at that point will have a lot of games to. They've already shown some improvement this year.
Yeah.
38-22, and Will Greer had 4 turnovers, and granted, a big reason why the score is so close. 3 of Will Greer's turnovers in the red zone.
Yeah.
But still 4 turnovers by a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
That's scary, and so that's definitely going to be a tough game. But I do like the fact that this team is not going to take any game for granted. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that worries me, and Herman has said it just about every week, is we know our best can beat anybody, but we're not at the point where our C+ can beat anybody.
I think
we've seen now. Fortunately, we've seen the C+ in Tulsa and Kansas State and Maryland. But
I think Kansas State was a B.
Yeah, but not the best performance against not the best teams.
Right.
And I don't think this is a team that can. That's why we say there could be a loss or two. I don't know if this is a team that can compete A+ week in, week out. It's hard. I mean, Alabama doesn't do that. They gave up 30 points to Arkansas.
Yeah, but their F is better than
exactly, and that's the thing. And
A.
that's Herman's point. Is their F is better than right. And so, but I think a lot of confidence in this team to go in, win 9-10 wins, and compete for a conference championship. At least be in the title.
That would be so refreshing.
Yeah,
it's definitely possible.
Just being talked about. I mean, having game day.
Yeah,
people talking about the Texas OU game as like. This is a game that could shake things up at the end of the year. That's thrilling. Even if we had lost this game, the fact that the game day was there is still a huge step.
Right, and we're watching Appalachian State play Arkansas State last night at halftime. You know what they led off halftime with? Highlights of the Texas OU game.
Who does that?
On a Tuesday night.
The fact that there was football on a Tuesday night was a nice thing.
That's great.
I mean, we had Monday night football, Tuesday night football, Wednesday night off. That's
which
church
is good
night in Texas.
Yeah.
Thursday night football, Friday night football, Saturday, Sunday we're back at it again. I got football.
It's great.
Hey, Wednesdays are my Thomas Fitch Sports Show days.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
We
Thomas Fitch Sports Show fills in the gap of no football.
If you
now, that's
don't
going to be
already
struggle when
listen-
Wednesday Night Action comes in.
Oh, that's true.
If you're not listening to the Thomas Fitch Sports Show right now,
your football diet is missing a key ingredient.
now obviously the point is that the listeners are listening right now.
Yes.
Because if they're listening right now, they're listening right now. For those of you not listening to the
It's been a long day.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I have to say I think this edition of Thomas Fitch Sports Show, the couch conversation, has been a success.
It was fun.
I think we'll have to bring it back at some point. Hopefully next week we'll be back in the studio breaking down the Baylor game. But anyways, thanks to Wayde and James for joining us again. Y'all are very much recurring guests of the show. Wade's our graphics producer. But
one and only.
yeah, thanks guys for joining the show anyways from the Thomas Fitch Sports Show. I'm Thomas Fitch. Hook 'em horns.
Chinqui.